Hi tribe, and welcome to this new video. From today I am starting a new project, special design for the persons with disabilities. This doesn't mean that the old videos that I was creating until now I will stop to creating them. No, I will continue with the both in parallel. But this is an old project that I have in my mind from a long time, and now it's time to start it. I create a series of episodes in which I will teach the persons that they are in a wheelchair, paralyzed from the waistband down, so they can use their upper body and the hands to be able to protect themselves, to defend their life using the blade. Basically, I was taking the core elements from tactical combat system and adapted for these persons with disabilities. And now the name of the system is called ABC, Adaptive Blade Combat. But how it was starting in my mind, this project, ABC, Adaptive Blade Combat. I was seeing from a long time ago the increase of all these cases in which people with disabilities that they are in the wheelchair were becoming victims of criminal individuals. And I was understanding the limitation of these persons and the need of a new system, combat system, that you will use a tool, in this case the blade, and that they will equilibrate or give them the chance of surviving in a life or death situation. You know from the beginning that tactical combat system, the system that I'm teaching, it's using deadly force. So I'm using my blade only in that situations that they are requiring the use of deadly force to protect my life, my family, or the ones around me. And I give you all the time the example with Paris in the church a few years ago, when a terrorist was entering with a knife and begin to stab multiple victims and also kill them. Yeah, so that is a situation in which I must use my blade to protect my life and the ones around me, to eliminate the target. I'm not talking about an altercation, a verbal altercation that is passing to a physical one with 2 slaps and 1 punch, and I take the blade and I kill the other individual because I will go to prison. So we understand this thing from the beginning. And what I'm teaching is based on the ambush and counter-ambush situation. So all the basic elements, the fundamentals from tactical combat system, I was taking them and adapted for the individuals that they cannot use their legs and they are in a wheelchair. I was buying from a long time a wheelchair, and based on my combat mindset, on my experience regarding violence, I was adapting all the techniques for the individuals that they are using a wheelchair. Even if you are having a contact with some combat systems before to be in a wheelchair or after being in a wheelchair, or you didn't have never in your life contact with a combat system, this video series is for you if you want to increase your chances of surviving in a life or death situation. And this project is more complex than only knowing how to use a blade. I will teach you not only techniques with the blade adapted for your situation, but also human basic anatomy, to know where are the places that you can strike in such a way that you can affect, incapacitate their target. I will teach you how to conceal very good your weapon, what tactics to use to deploy in time that blade in a fight, and also some trauma medical care. So you will have also some knowledge regarding the trauma medicine in such a way that you can stop a massive bleeding if you are the one that is wounded, applying a tourniquet, or I don't know, putting a chest seal or other kind of trauma medical interventions that you can make also on other people that they are around you, but they are the victims of this kind of incidents. So guys, we must understand what is the most important element when we talk about combat, ambushing and counter-ambushing techniques. And that is awareness, being able to identify in time potential threats. If you don't know what is happening around you, doesn't matter that you can use your legs or you are in a wheelchair, it's possible to be too late. So knowing how the criminal individuals are operating, knowing their modus operandi, will help us identify the right techniques, the right tactics that we can apply to increase our chances of surviving in that particular situation. And if we look at real footages with real attacks, people that they can use their legs or in the wheelchair, the criminal individuals will do in the majority of the situations the same thing. Meaning they will close the distance between them and you using deceptive techniques in such a way that they can catch you in the most perfect moment for them to attack. They will have, if they use a blade, they will have their blade already prepared. Imagine that they have a jacket or a hoodie, this is only an example, and they put already the blade inside the pocket with the hand on it, so they have it already in their hand. They don't lose time to take it from I don't know what kind of position. So if they need to operate and to deliver their attack, they are very fast. So if we are not able to identify in time potential signs that they are telling you this can be a life or death situation, this can be a potential threat, then doesn't matter what fire weapon you have at you, what blade, what skills you have, it's possible to be too late. And in this video series I will teach you also this, how we can increase our ability to identify potential threats. When I was deciding to start this program, the Adaptive Blade Combat program, I was thinking that it's not enough only to teach something standing in my legs and trying to understand what it will work or not. So this was the reason why a long time ago I was purchasing this wheelchair, and I was trying the techniques and seeing what really can be applied regarding this kind of situation in which you cannot use your legs but only your upper body. So these techniques that I will show you here are based on my experience, on my encounters regarding the violence, but also testing it in this wheelchair. I find that every person must have the right to protect his life. And this project comes as a support for you to teach you how you can increase your skills and survive violent encounters. I want also to underline from the beginning that only watching this video or whatever videos you want regarding the combat will not help you survive in a real situation. This is only a support that I am sharing with you, helping you in the process of learning, but you must train hard, sweat a lot and put a lot of effort to master these techniques. Even if I'm talking about a blade, even if I'm talking about trauma medicine, you must put a lot of effort. So I will start now to tell you the main core elements behind ABC, Adaptive Blade Combat System, that basically are the core elements from tactical combat system, but of course adapted to this kind of situation. Number one, as I said before, it's awareness, being able to identify in time potential threats. Number two is being able to deploy under stress and pressure factors our blade. Number three, that is coming together with number four, is striking fast, striking precise. And especially in this kind of situation, striking fast, striking precise is very important. And this is coming together with the chapter in which I will teach you about human body anatomy, and you will understand the zones where you can strike with the blade and create shock to your target, incapacitated or killing it, eliminating it. So number three, number four, striking fast, striking precise, and the last one that I find the most difficult to make in this condition is the ability to move ourselves. Being in a wheelchair, this is the most vulnerable thing because we cannot escape from the X, from the danger zone, so fast as a person that can use his legs. But I will teach you different kind of tactics in such a way that we can equilibrate this balance. To be able to deploy in time, in the fight, your blade, it's in strict connection with what type of blade you are carrying. And of course here it's a longer discussion, a longer topic. what particular laws regarding the blades are existing in your country. If you are living in a country in which civilians are allowed to carry fire weapons, I advise you to take good training and to carry a fire weapon, because that is the #1 weapon of choice. But if you are living in a country, for example, the majority of the countries from Europe, they are not permitting to civilians to carry fire weapons. And I'm not entering here in this topic if it's good or bad. Of course, these laws are only making in such a way that law-abiding citizens are becoming more easy victims to the criminals, because criminals will always find the methods in which to commit their criminal acts. But taking this right from the civilian, you make him more vulnerable to become a victim. And in this way, we are finding different kind of solutions to protect ourselves. That, of course, will not be more efficient than a fire weapon, but at least can give us some chances of surviving in a real life or death violent encounter. So, if you have the possibility in your country to carry a fixed blade, carry a fixed blade. And now I'm not encourage you to break the laws. I'm only encouraging you to find the right tactics and take the right decisions in such a way that you have the right tools to protect your life. So if we talk about a folding knife, if I'm carrying a folding knife because in my country, let's say, I'm not allowed to carry a fixed blade, I must understand the vulnerability of carrying a folding knife. And that vulnerabilities are applying also when you can use your legs, run and move and be more fast than being in a wheelchair. Especially if I am in a wheelchair, it will be a very, very, very hard weapon to deploy under stress and pressure factors. And let's take the next scenario. Very, very simple scenario, only to understand a little bit the context that I want to talk about it. Nothing special. So let's say that here I have a target in my front, yeah, an aggressor. It's a fixed target, but only an exercise of imagination. If I have my folding knife, doesn't matter in which position I have it. If I have it in my pocket, the majority of the folding knives, of course, they have these clips and you put it in your pocket. So if now I am in the situation that I am in an ambush and this aggressor is coming very fast towards me, attacking me, let's put only in the idea that it's only one aggressor. If there are multiple, it's more complicated the situation, of course. Me being in this position, trying to go to take my folding knife out, to open it, and also to use it, and to be able to defend myself when I already receive an attack with a blade possible, or I don't know what kind of weapon. We must understand that this can be only in Hollywood movies. In reality, you will not have the time. This is happening when the adrenaline is rushing in your body, when your respiration is increasing, when your heartbeats are increasing, when you have the tunnel vision, when fine motor skills are not operating at the same level. This movement is requiring the use of fine motor skills. So, understanding that you will not be able to put that blade in time will help you adapt different kind of tactics that will increase the chances that you pull that blade in the fighting time, or change, of course, with a fixed blade. But if you cannot change it, of course, there are existing different kind of solutions. I have a hoodie, for example. This is the reason why I'm talking about awareness. Being able to identify potential threats and having the time means that before the ambush to happen, I will be able to identify that threats and I can prepare myself. So if I have, for example, a hoodie or something on me, I can very easily take my blade, put my hand in my hands in the pocket with my blade in my jacket or my hoodie and open the blade very easy without the others looking because I'm in the pocket, my blade. And already I am with the blade opened, ready to use in my hand. So if something is happening now, I can take my weapon outside and strike. Yeah. Here, when we talk about the wheelchair, there are different kind of situations. There are people that they are paralyzed exactly from the waistband down, so they can use their muscles from the back to make this kind of movement. They cannot use a leg at all. So this is a more good situation because I can use my back to go in a front position or move my body. But there are also the situation in which they must push in the hands in such a way that they are coming in a vertical position or change the position. Understanding the limitation of our weapon will help us choose the right tactics so we can increase our chances to put that blade in time in the fight. Another bad point, another bad part when we talk about folding knives is that they are made from components. It's not only one piece that you take it out and use it. So this folding knife one day can have a malfunction, can be stuck. The button that you push to open, if you have an automatical based on a button, the flipper that you push here maybe will be stuck. I don't know, so many things can happen. There are happening malfunction to all the things that they are based on components. And you don't want to be in that situation that you need that blade to protect your life and it's not opening. A fixed blade, in exchange, if we compare them, you take it out and it's ready to use. So understand this kind of limitations. Then another thing, understand that you are in a wheelchair. And here, for example, look in the lateral, I have different kind of things. Where to put my hands, this cover from the wheelchair. So it's possible when I want to deploy my blade to happen different kind of incidents, like to hit these like obstacles, to drop my blade, or to not be able to open it, or to represent an obstacle to my deployment. These are things that we will discuss immediately in the next chapters, and I will make you understand how you can choose suitable for you the best weapon and also of course the best concealed carry, how you can carry your weapon to increase your possibility, again I repeat, to put that blade in time in the fight, because this is the most important. If I talk about a fixed blade, of course I'm carrying now in the appendix position, but I will show appendix position means that I have it inside the waistband, catch by the belt. My weapon is in this position, appendix position is calling, and I can deploy it from here. But I will show you different kind of ways of carrying, and you must test it. You must train and test that way of concealed carry, because I want to underline that what is suitable for me doesn't mean that it's suitable also for you. And again, I give an example. If I choose to carry here, but you, for example, let's give an example, you have 130 kilos and you are supraponderal and you have the belly like this, it will be very hard that you deploy that weapon. And here again, I want to come to a particular and very, how to say, sensitive talk, because physical shape, it's also very important to be able to increase your chances to survive. So being in a constant good physical shape, being able not only to move the wheels from your wheelchair, but also to push your body, to drag your body if you are down, to fight on the ground, because we'll discuss different kind of situations. It's very important. So if I have a fixed blade, it's very simple. I am taking it from the appendix position with the technique that I will learn you, and you will also apply it and test it in your training. Basically, I take my shirt with a weak hand and I am catching the blade, taking out. In this situation, I don't have a blade. I have from Microtech the tactical penetrator spike. I take it out and I am ready to use to strike with it. Yeah, but it's a fixed tool, so I must not make different kind of movements that they are requiring fine motor skills, opening with the finger, taking it from the lateral pocket, and so on. And here again is coming in the discussion the next thing. I will teach you to be able to use your weapon with the both hands. If, for example, you are deciding to carry a folding knife or a fixed blade, but the concealed carry method, it's a wrong one, and this means, for example, imagine that I carry my folding knife in the right pocket or my blade, my fixed blade, on the right pocket. If I am injured to one of the hand or I cannot use my hand, it will be very complicated. And even if I manage to make it, it will take me much time to take that blade out to open it from this kind of position than if I have it in a better concealed carry position. So what I was wanted to transmit you regarding the blades. Simple. There are blades that they are much better than other blades. And not only because you are in a wheelchair, but also for somebody that can run, can use his legs. So choosing the right weapon is very important, especially when we talk about the wheelchair situation and you have a limitation, because it's a limitation. You are not able to move so fast to disengage from the X zone, and you are losing already too much time on the same place, and even if you want to move, you are more slower. It's taking also a long time to open your blade and to be with it to put it in the fire. So we must choose the right weapon to decrease the time in which we are ready to operate it. So let's talk now about concealed carry methods. And here it's another very important element to be able, again I repeat, to put that blade in time in the fire. If you have a bad concealed carry method, it will take you a longer time, or it will represent an obstacle for you. So basically I will start with my favorite one, that is carrying my blade in the appendix position. And many will find this, will say, yeah, but it's not accommodating you when it's touching the groin here, depending on the length of the blade. Of course, if you have a big blade and you put it in this kind of position, it will not be so comfortable. And again, when we talk about this situation that I am in a wheelchair, also it's important to not choose the smallest blade, because having a smallest blade, it will not permit us to have also advantage or to equilibrate that disadvantage of distance. Yeah, because I am in a wheelchair and it's more hard. Somebody that is using his leg, he can step inside very fast and make that distance that for me is taking more time to make it much faster. So you must choose a blade that it's also helping you to not be so uncomfortable, but also to have a good length, so it will help you power of penetration, reaching a longer distance, and so on. So I'm carrying in the appendix position, and means that if I want to deploy this weapon now, I can deploy it with the both hands. Basically the technique is catching my shirt or my clothes, what I have, with my hand, catching it very good, bring it in diagonal until I liberate my blade, and the other one is coming on the blade, deploying my blade and being in a position that I can strike. This technique, it's more good than, more better to choose than other, because it's permitting you to deploy it with the both hands. So I can deploy it with this hand, I can deploy it with this hand, but I can also deploy it when I'm injured at one hand. If I'm injured to one hand, I make the same process, but all with the other hand, taking my clothes, bringing it diagonal, liberating, stretching on my body, liberating that blade, coming on the blade, take it out. The same is happening also when I'm talking about this position. So using the other hand. So very simple, catching my shirt, taking in lateral, taking the blade and use it. In your hand, the other hand, I can do the same technique. Both hands, I can do immediately deploy my blade from that position. The opposite hand, the same idea. The main thing that I must tell you and to understand from the beginning is that you must train the both hands. Must not exist. I'm training and I'm so good with the right hand. Because that is leading you, and it's something very that we find a lot as humans, and it's the idea of staying in a comfort zone. I am so good to deploy the blade and to be ready to use it with the both hands or only with the right hand, but I'm not practicing with the other because I know that I will make mistakes and I don't like to be in that uncomfortable situation. But that is the most important, that you train and you make mistakes, and again you train and you make again mistakes, and you by training you reduce the times in which you will fail. So it's very, very important to push your body and to learn to use the both hands. And this is not only about blades, this is applying also to a tourniquet, for example. A tourniquet, I will show you when we discuss about trauma medicine, is this special medical equipment that is designed to control a massive bleeding. You have a bronchial artery lacerated from fight with the blades, or can be also from another incident, work accidents, if you are doing something in your yard, I don't know, or different kind of incidents that can happen, and you can have a massive bleeding. So you learn to apply this tourniquet and to stop, to control the bleeding until professional medical care is arriving. If you train all the time to apply, to make a self-application with a tourniquet only with one hand, and you will be injured at that hand, you will possible to not put it in time with the hand that you didn't train. Here is the same. We must train to use, to deploy, to strike, to do all the things with the both hands. We pass now to another concealed carry method, and this is the same way. It's the belt, the waistband, but I have my blade, my weapon, in horizontal. So it's not anymore vertical, it's horizontal. So from the point of view, if you think of comfort, it's much better. You don't feel nothing like disturbing you. So it's a good position. The bad part, what I find, especially when you are sitting and deploying, is that you are not able, like somebody that can use his legs, to change very fast his body position in such a way that he can go on the legs and go up and can deploy fast his weapon if it's sitting. You are on the wheelchair, so you cannot make this. So you must deploy your blade from this position. And this type of position has some bad points, and I will tell you immediately. One is that when I deploy, the deployment is the same. I can take my hand, take my shirt, and I have the blade. One is that when I take with force my blade, it's possible because of the adrenaline, because of the situation. Again, I say what is happening: increasing of the heartbeats, increasing of the respiration, tunnel vision, blood is redirected to big groups of muscle, sweating of the palms, fine motor skills are not operating at the same level, the brain is not able anymore to do complex activities at the same level. So it's possible when you deploy your blade, I'm not making so close to my body, to cut your, because I have the blade with the facing down to my leg, and it's possible when I take it very fast because of that situation to cut my leg. Yeah, so this is one of the things. So if you look at me now in this position, I have two things. One obstacle is this here. If I'm here and I want to drag my blade now, I will hit in that. Okay, let's say that with training, with a lot of things, I will learn to deploy it in more upper position. The bad part of this is that I need a force to take, because this sheet of the knife has a retention here, it's not exiting so easy. So this force is bringing my hand in a lateral position. This lateral position from here until I can strike to my target, when this is more far, but if it's approaching, until I can strike to my target, it's a long distance. Even if it's not looking so big distance, it is when we talk about an ambush. So this is passive space. I need to be in a situation, for example, imagine that I'm with the blade in the first appendix position that I was showing you. You drag the blade, you pull the blade out, and because of the force, you are in a position from here that you are more close to hit the target, to strike the target, than if I'm going with the blade here. So these are very important elements to understand when you choose a concealed carry method. Another bad part of choosing this concealed carry is that it's more hard to deploy with the both hands. If here is more easy to deploy it with the other hand, it's more complicated, because when I want, even if I'm using the both hands, but let's say I'm injured to this and I try to deploy it only with one hand, because when I'm deploying this blade, when I take it out, I need that force to take the blade from the sheet that has a retention. So it's bringing my hand with the blade in this kind of position. Again, not only that is unnatural, but also from here to my target, it's passive energy. At the appendix position, in the vertical position, I am already near to strike. So from here, it's more complicated to strike. I'm showing you now the next concealed carry, that somebody is choosing to carry his weapon in the lateral. Yeah, and this we must from the beginning to understand that if I'm in a wheelchair, I have these obstacles here. So when I want to deploy, my hand, it's a little bit not so easy because of all this that I have near me. But let's say I am deploying it, and of course I can use it in an ice pick grip or in a hammer grip. But if I need to operate with the other hand, it's more complicated, especially if I have this wounded hand. I must take with the shirt, I take it out, but we come at the same discussion, at the same situation, passive energy. One is here to strike from this position, and one is to come because of the force to come from this position and take it to strike. Yeah, so we must understand that choosing the best weapon, the best knife, and choosing the best concealed carry can help us to increase our chances to put that blade in time in the fight. Otherwise, doesn't matter, it's not counting anymore that you have a blade if you not manage in time to take it out and to make your technique. We pass now to the next concealed carry, that is for the neck knife. So I have my knife, I carry my knife at the neck, and it has pluses and minuses. Pluses, it's very easy to conceal, not so hard to see, very easy to conceal. The idea of deploying the weapon, it's a little bit more harder, because I must come with the hand up and take it from here, and this is okay when I use the both hands. But when I'm using only one hand, let's say this is injured, I must come take my shirt up, drag it until up, sliding with my hand, catching the knife, take it out. So this idea of taking my shirt up and let it fall, it's about the gravitation. If it's a little bit heavy cloth, it's possible to happen this, and when I take my blade out, to catch my hand in the clothing, in the shirt. So it's very important to understand that this is a weak point. If I make it with two hands, it's no problem. Yeah, I can deploy it. Another bad thing is that when I'm in a fight situation, even if I'm moving with a wheelchair, I want to move left, right, doesn't matter what I'm doing, twisting around, trying to move. This can happen, especially if I'm hit or other things, can happen to move on your neck and to be in a position like this. I will show you outside to understand. Because of my movements, because of what I'm doing, can arrive to be in this kind of position. So when I want to deploy it, every time I was training in a normal situation, make it to my target without moving too much, and it was here. But now when I want to make it, it's not anymore, and it's taking you time until you are finding your blade in the position that it is to take it out. So this is another bad part regarding this concealed carry. Of course, I was showing also in my past videos methods to make this to be fixed. This, for example, has two other holes to the sheath of the knife. You can come with another paracord or with an elastic. I'm showing you here in exterior to see. Normally, of course, it's coming under the t-shirt. And from there, you catch it to your belt. So it's remaining fixed, is not moving. But also, by doing this, when you want to deploy it, it's possible to be the risk because of that situation and the changes that are happening in your body. Again, I repeat, to catch with all that paracord, and it will be very hard to take it out. Yeah. Another way is to come with an adhesive band on your skin under and remain fixed there. But of course, it's uncomfortable. Your body is sweating. It will not stay so much time, and it will not be so fixed. These are the main places where you can carry your blade. But we have another episode in the future in which I will show you dirty knife concealed carry methods using different kind of tactics so you can hide or conceal your blade, and not better, but because also these are very good methods to conceal your blade, but they will give you the advantage to bring that blade very fast in the fight. Even if it's regarding a small tactical bag that you have, even if it's a fake pouches that you are putting on the wheelchair, and I will show you in the future, I will teach you different kind of tactics that you can adopt in such a way that you reduce that time. Because when we are in an ambush, you are already behind the attacker. A reaction is always slower than action, so we must equilibrate that time. Now I will show you the types of grips that I'm teaching in tactical combat system and also in the adaptive blade combat system, and I will come more closer to you in such a way that you understand these things. So I have here my blade, and we have the hammer grip that is looking like this, and we have of course the ice pick grip that is looking like this. The hammer grip has a variation. This is with the thumb like this when I want to make strong, powerful strikes, and in the idea that I will hit different kind of hard tissues to not break my finger, because the other variation is with the thumb finger up. If I have a tsuba, a guard to my knife, and I put the finger here and I want to strike with power and I will hit ribs or other hard tissues, it's possible that I broke my thumb finger. So this is the reason why I will choose for hard, very hard strikes the normal hammer grip. This with the thumb up, it's more done for precision strikes. If you are seeing, if I want now in this moment to strike you with a blade in a normal straight position, I bend so much my wrist that is uncomfortable and is also sometimes painful, especially if you are hitting a hard obstacle. This is the reason why when I want to hit with the precision, I will push with the finger in that direction and look from the normal natural way when I stay with the hand directed to you, how it's changing the direction. Yeah, so I have a better chance of precise strike. When I talk about ice pick grip, all the time my thumb finger is up. It's functioning as a stopper. Especially for the situation, it's the same concept. If in a real situation I have sweaty palms, if I have blood on my hands, if it's raining, if I am in a muddy kind of environment, and I want to strike and I don't put my finger up, and it's this kind of blade without a tsuba, without the guard, and I hit, for example, a hard tissue of the body, it's possible that my hand is going on the blade or I lose the blade, the grip from it. So this is the reason why I put my thumb finger up when I'm striking. It's helping me like a stopper to not slide my hand on the blade and also to not lose the grip on the blade. It's very important, guys, to understand that in ABC, Adaptive Blade Combat, we are using simple and efficient techniques. Nothing fancy, nothing complex. In a real situation, your brain will not be able to operate complex activities at the same level as in normal conditions. This is the reason why we want to train simple and efficient techniques to program our brain to have a response in that particular situation under stress and pressure factors. So before we pass to drills and techniques that you can implement in your training, I want to make you understand the difference between cut and stab. We have on our body different kind of zones that are representing shock zones. What are shock zones in ABC or Tactical Combat System, the other system that I'm teaching? Basically are zones on the body that will stop the aggressor from his initial attack for a limited amount of time, of course. And that can be eye, trachea, heart, kidneys. If I'm striking you with a blade in the eye, entering in the orbit of the eye, penetrating to the cavernous sinus, I don't know somebody that can fight having a blade, being strike in the eye with a blade. The same trachea. Only if you take a punch in your trachea very hard, your reaction of the body, it will be this, and you will enter in that immediate shock, in which natural reaction, it will be this kind of movement, and it will stop you from your initial action. Imagine if you have a blade now that is perforating that pipe, that trachea. The same with the heart, but the heart we discuss, and all this we'll discuss when we are at the anatomy chapter, because they are different kind of situation. The heart is organized in different parts, left ventricle, right ventricle, and so on. And there are situations in which people were stabbed in the heart and they were surviving because, for example, the aggressor was stabbing them and the blade was remaining stuck between the ribs, and it was functioning as a seal for the heart. So different kind of situation, but it will come the moment in which I will talk about this. Kidneys, the same, between 2 million and 3 million nerves. Imagine what kind of shock it's delivering when you have a blade inserted, injuring the kidneys. So these kind of particular shock zones can be struck only with a stab. Yeah? Are requiring a stab. Cuts are also very dangerous. They can produce injuries that can lead to the death of your aggressor, of your target, but not stopping him in that moment. Even if I cut an important blood vessel, carotid arteries, axillary artery, bronchial artery, femoral arteries, doesn't matter. Even if I'm cutting it, that is not a shock zone, so he will continue for a limited amount of time to deliver his strikes until 3-4 minutes, until he's losing the amount of blood that is leading to his death. A lot of factors are influencing this, depending on the mass, depending on how good is lacerated that blood vessel, or until 1 minute the same, depending on different kind of factors to lose his conscience, but not in that moment. Of course, again, I repeat, he can stop in that moment. If somebody is injuring another individual, cutting his carotid artery, squirting blood, psychologically understand, being aware of his injury and going immediately because he's putting the hands to stop the bleeding, of course he can stop there, but that is more a psychological effect, not a physiological one regarding the injury that you create. Yeah, but they can be, for example, under the influence of different kind of toxic substances, drugs, and so on, or only the adrenaline, and continue their action. So only with shock strikes you can stop them in that moment from the initial activities. Normally the strategy must be striking the shock zone and creating space. striking fast, precise, the shock zone, creating space. But only that now we are in a situation, in a wheelchair, and of course our height is now limited to our wheelchair. So we are not anymore in the feet. And our distance, okay, here I have a very big target. Even if I'm going now in the feet, this fixed target is very tall comparing with me. Because when I'm training in tactical combat system, I try every time to have my target more upper, the higher level than me. So I'm forcing my muscles from my body, from the shoulders, to work better and to help me to have a better explosion and also better precision when you train in this kind of upper level. But imagine that even if my target was smaller, I am limited by the wheelchair being at this high. So even if I can move, for example, even if I cannot move the legs, I can move only from the waistband level. I can move only like this. Even if my target it will be in front, it will not be so easy to strike a point like the eye or the trachea. Yeah? Even if I'm fast, even if, I don't know, I was practicing a lot on precision, it's a more longer distance and it's requiring a lot of training and also the right timing to do that kind of movement. You can do it more when the target is close to you, wants to catch you, wants to put you down, or different kind of situations or scenarios that we can work on it in the future. So the main idea is that now that particular shock strike, when I want to strike, for example, for the heart, it will be not so complicated because it's a very more accessible point. For the kidneys, it's more hard because the kidneys are on the back of my target. So if I have it in my front or even in the lateral, it's very hard in a wheelchair to move in such a way that I am having my target with the back at me. So when I'm talking about an ambush technique is something else, but we will discuss in the future. So now I must adapt my own tactics to understand the limitations that I have in such a way that I can deliver the right strikes in the right zones, so I can incapacitate or eliminate that target. Because again, I repeat, I am teaching you use of deadly force. These techniques must be applied. I deploy that weapon in the situation in which I must use deadly force to protect my life or the ones around me. Everyone can be a protector. The idea and the spirit of the protector doesn't stay in your ability to run or to jump. It's staying in your ability of being able to use your skills to defend the ones around you. And in this program, I want also to underline that we will not work only techniques from being in a wheelchair. In real situations, a lot of the fights are going to the ground. Imagine now that you are in this kind of limitation. You cannot be in your feet, you cannot run, so the possibility that you are dragged from your wheelchair is very, very high. And if you are arriving on the ground and you don't know what to do, you are more vulnerable than being in the wheelchair. So we'll work also in that particular situations. So now let's see what kind of simple strikes we can adopt in our technique in such a way that is helping us build the fundamentals to pass to the next drills. And the simple things when you see also on the street and what is going are simple striking techniques. Yeah, if I'm taking my empty hands, everyone knows to throw a punch, even if it's a jab, even if it's a cross. Of course, that the ability of throwing these punches without using your legs, it's more limited, because when you are on the legs, you can take all the energy, all the power from the ground, twisting your shoulder, putting that shoulder inside, twisting it and giving with a lot of power and more precise and having more explosion in your strikes. But this must not represent an obstacle, because when we talk about the blades, we are not needing the correct way of punching, because we are using a blade. A blade can penetrate, can cut, can stab and penetrate different kind of tissues without requiring so much force. Yeah, but of course we must train that kind of strikes. And let's say, for example, if I am in a normal position, I'm twisting myself to see myself better. Depends also on your limitation. What type of injury you have? What type, from where, if you can move your body from here, in front, lateral, making different kind of movements, from the waistband up, then you have a lot of possibilities. If you need your hands to move your body, it's a little bit more complicated. And you must understand that I don't want to sell, I don't know, false dreams. I want to make you, from the beginning, understand that all these techniques are based also on your capabilities of movement and what you can do. Yeah. So if I am, for example, paralyzed from the legs down and I can use all my waist from up, the core of the body and the hands, of course I can move my body and also twisting my body, trying to hit with my punches. If I need to hit from down, from lateral, I have, for example, a jab, I have a cross, I have a hook, I can have a uppercut. But this I am showing you not because I want you to fight with bare hands. Our system is based on blade combat. So I need to deploy that blade in the fight. If it's existing the situation that you are in a scenario in which it was not passing to blades and you are attacked with empty hands, of course, if you don't have the possibility exactly in that moment to deploy your blade because you were not aware about your environment, you can use some simple striking techniques only to create that time, that momentum to deploy your blade. But in rest, we are focusing ourselves on our skills to deploy fast our blade and to strike with it. So if I have a jab or a cross, the same thing I can do, only that now I put a blade in my hand. So if I want to give this strike, I have the same strike, only that now I have my blade in the hand. If I choose the ice-pick grip, I can make the same direct strike. If I choose the hammer grip, it's the same movement. So without the blade, putting my hand straight, trying to cover with the shoulder in such a way that I protect a little bit my head, my chin, in such a way to not be taking a punch that can lead to my knockout. So I am protecting my chin, the other is up. If I have, so one is hitting, one is protecting my head, it's at the level of my head. Of course, when we talk about hand-to-hand combat, I will show you different kind of covers that you do, especially for the ambush situation when they are attacking you with punches, but this is in the other episode. So here I want only to make the transition to you to understand that from simple punches that you find in striking systems, you can make the same thing but by having the blade. I can have a direct strike in a hammer grip, or I can have a direct strike in an ice-pick grip. Another thing, uppercut. In reality, you let your body, you put your shoulder, you take you put the leg in the ground, you take all the energy from there and you cut from down up, striking with the punch. Here I can have the same. I have the blade in a hammered grip and I'm making the same thing, striking with the blade from down up. If I have, for example, my target is very near me, imagine that, for example, I have his femoral artery, it's in the legs. We'll discuss this at the anatomy, but only to make an idea. And we have at the groin level the femoral triangle. There is a portion where the femoral artery, the femoral vein, and the femoral nerve is not protected by muscles. So if I'm using this kind of strike, I can insert my blade exactly at the level of the groin, entering, okay, this is a penetrating spike. I only make you like to understand the technique. This you cannot lacerate with it, yeah. So when you have a normal blade with the edge, just a moment, only to show you. So I have this kind of blade now. I have the sharp edge towards me. I can come with the heat in the femoral triangle and then ripping towards me that femoral vein and femoral artery. That of course it will lead to death. It will not stop him exactly in that moment, but it's one of the strikes that I can access with the uppercut from here. Yeah. So only to make yourself an idea what I can do with this kind of strikes. Again, if for example I am in a situation that I want to use the direct strike, I can make the same. I can strike at the level of the femoral. Only here it's representing only like an idea to see that I have a target. When we will pass again to the human anatomy, I will show you different kind of diagrams to understand how it's functioning. So if I am striking, let's say it's the level of the femoral triangle, and I'm striking with a direct strike, entering in that the groin level in the femoral triangle, and then with the edge of the blade, with the sharp edge of the blade ripping towards me, I'm creating the same thing like when I was going down and ripping towards me, but from an uppercut point of view. Yeah. So all these techniques, simple, they are simple techniques you can adopt in your strategy, in your hitting. I have simple ways in which you hit with the empty hands, and now you have only a blade in your hand. But the mechanics, the movements are the same. So I was changing now, guys, my blade with a training blade. And I recommend to you, especially now at the beginning, and especially if you don't have experience and you didn't practice with the blades, don't practice with a real blade until you don't master that skill. And another important thing is, in your process of learning, try in such a way that when you will begin to learn more advanced techniques, to have the trainer very similar to the real blade that you use. Otherwise, you will have a big blade of the tool for the training, and when you must deploy the real one, it will be something else. So basically there are many blades that you can find that they are coming together with their trainer. So use that type of training tool. And again, I repeat at the beginning, use the blade in such a way that you don't create accidents, you don't cut yourself. You want to train yourself not to create injuries. So what is my first drill for you that you can make from for the next time? You can practice by your own. You can film yourself 5 minutes, and on my email address that I put it under this video in the description, you can send that video if you want that I correct you, and if you want that I give you a feedback with tips. Doesn't matter how many of you are, I will try to respond, and I will respond to all of you, and I will give you the feedback that is helping you advance in your techniques. So the first technique that I recommend to you is the next one. I am having in appendix position, and I'm trying to deploy my blade very fast, catching with my hand the shirt, bringing in a diagonal position, stretch on my body. And here I want to underline why stretch on the body. I'm coming in this position to see better. If I am coming only like this with the shirt up, and I want to take my blade, and especially when I am under stress and pressure factors, it's possible to happen this. In the training, it's very simple to do with a fixed mannequin that is not opposing resistance, and you don't have stress factors to make this, but in reality it will be something else. So this is the reason why when I'm catching my shirt, I am bringing my shirt on the diagonal on the body, stretch on the body in such a way that my blade now is liberated, and I can come with my hand, catch in an ice-pick grip, and being ready to use. So very simple technique that will introduce you to the idea of deploying your blade fast. So here, deploying the blade. I don't need at the beginning that you strike, only making the deployment. Very easy at the first time. I'm making more faster now, only to make you understand that you can deploy it very fast. So catch the shirt, go in diagonal, take your blade, and you are ready in this position at the solar plexus. So from here you can strike in different kind of positions. Don't hurry, make the technique 10 times very slow, in which you help with the brain to memorize, to learn this technique. When I'm catching the shirt, I'm focusing my brain on the movement, on how the fingers are contracting, how my muscles are contracting, catching very good that shirt. If you are not learning your brain to make this, in the future your hand it will be relaxed, and it's possible that you lose your shirt. It's going down, you don't catch it good. So when I make this movement, I am really catching very good my shirt, coming in diagonal, catching with the other hand in the grip, and coming in a position from where I can strike. Another very important thing, to create this movement and to be much good to catch very strong your shirt, there are existing different kind of these rubber balls that you can stay at the TV, you can stay, I don't know, watching a movie, and in this time you make this kind of motion. This will help you to have a very good grip on your shirt in such a way that you don't lose your grip when you deploy your blade. Here, very fast, I am deploying my blade. Make this first with the both hands, using the weak hand to take the shirt, the strong hand to take the knife. Then change it in the reverse. I am using the other hand, the strong hand, to take the shirt in diagonal, the other to take the blade near you. You can make 10 repetitions with the strong hand, 10 repetitions with the weak hand. Then you can pass to make the deployment using only one hand. So let's say I'm injured as this hand. I cannot catch anymore the shirt, so the only hand that I can use must make all the movements. I am catching the shirt, coming in diagonal, stretching, and now what I'm doing, I am continuing my moving, creating contact with my body, between my hand and my body, in such a way that I go to the blade. If I'm making only this, now I let the shirt, let's say it's going the shirt down, and I want to go on the knife. It's possible, if I have a shirt that has weight, a cloth that has weight, to be faster than when I take the knife. This is the reason why I'm stretching and then I'm going on my body to take that blade out. The same thing I am doing with the other hand, with the weak hand. Stretching, taking the blade out. 10 repetitions. Not hurrying, catching my shirt, taking in diagonal, taking my blade out, and ready to use it. This is the most fastest deployment, in not talking about dirty kind of concealed carry and deployments. We'll discuss about that in a future chapter. But like a normal deployment, this is, in my opinion, one of the fastest. Catch it, take my blade out, and be ready to use. So this is the first exercise that you can make. I will help you also, giving you the next tip, introducing your practice, in your training, NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming visualization. So make 10 times your technique, moving your body not so fast, more easy, taking it, take my blade out. After you make 10 times very slow, you sit without moving, without making any movement, and with your eyes closed, you make the same process, visualizing in your head how you make all the technique, how you catch your shirt, how you take your blade, how you take it out, how you come in a striking position. This NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming Visualization, are used by many professional athletes to increase their performance. It's nothing esoteric, it's nothing occult, it's nothing mystic, it's real science that is working. So put this also in your training. 10 slow, 10 using only the brain, and then 10 make it very fast, how fast you can. Of course, in all the positions that I was showing you. So after you master, guys, this deployment, you pass to put also a strike. This is another task that I give you for the ones that wants to start this ABC Adaptive Blade Combat program. So now what you are doing, the same thing that you were doing until now with the deployment, you are adapted now also with the strike. So if you don't have a target in your front, it's not so bad, but I recommend if you can improvise the target, it's perfect. So I'm making the same deployment coming in a hitting position, but from here I'm making also a strike. Trying to use explosion, of course, depending, again I repeat, of your situation, how much of your body, how good you can move the upper body and so on. So I'm making the same deployment, taking in diagonal, taking my blade out and striking towards the target. I'm striking at this level now, not because I want to hit something, because in the future we'll understand with the human anatomy how it's functioning, but only because I want already to make a transition between a deployment and a strike. And from the beginning I will make it at this level, but only to have a target you can put something that you can hit. Yeah, so very simple. From this position I'm making the deployment, coming in a normal position, strike, and coming back. When I'm striking, immediately when I'm striking, it's very important that the other hand, I'm deploying the knife and I'm striking, and the other hand with the shoulder, it's blocking a little bit, it's protecting me a little bit at the level of the neck and the chin, in such a way that I put my hand in this kind of position when I'm striking. Yeah, so if I am in a position that my target is more higher than me, my vulnerable place especially is remaining my carotid artery in the head, of course, and I must protect the chin. So more difficult is because I have this protection on the lateral to hit the lower part. So the upper part is more vulnerable. So when I want to strike, I'm creating also this kind of movement in which I protect like a triangle my neck, put it inside, and also my chin, and this is striking. So not complicated technique. I don't want you at the beginning to make it fast, slow, but really to understand the transition between the technique. 1 catching, 2 striking. Of course, this is not enough. Now it's only the basis in which I want you to learn this transition, and then is coming a more complex thing that we create a complete drill with moving and other kind of things, trying to hit precise, making exercise with tennis ball attached with rope that is moving, and we must increase our precision. So 1, 2 striking, very simple, fast, and I am here. 1 strike, 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 strike. Every time my thumb finger is on the top of the handle in such a way that my hand is not sliding on the knife. Here, catch, diagonal, strike. Okay guys, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope that this new project will help you increase your chances of surviving in a real situation, being able to protect yourself using the blade or the trauma medicine knowledge that I will share with you. This is only the first episode. I will make many from now on. If you are not a person with disabilities but you know one, please share this video in such a way that more people that they are in this kind of situations, being paralyzed from the waistband down but being able to use their upper body, the hands, can learn a skill that can save their life. Stay safe and train hard, guys.